Now in this lesson we're looking at place value, writing the numeral. Let's start by considering this number, 5,324,679, and we'll identify what each digit is worth. Firstly, that 9, starting from the right, is worth 9 units. That's its place value. The 7 is worth 7 tens. The 6 is worth 6 hundreds. The 4 worth 4 thousands. The 2 is worth 2 lots of 10 thousands. The 3 is worth 3 lots of 100 thousands. And finally the 5 is worth 5 lots of millions. So that gives you an idea of place value. Now of course there's numbers that are much greater than that, but for this lesson certainly we'll just be dealing with numbers of this size at most. Now, in terms of reading out a number, let's look at this number, 16,584. You'll notice there is a gap between the 6 and the 5, all right, leaving those 3 digits on the right. Now that gap, you can consider that to write as 1,000. So 16,584. This next one here, there seems to be 2 gaps. The one closest to the right, after the 3 digits, is the 1,000 gap. And the next gap, after another 3 numbers from the right, is the million. So to read that, we'd say 3,048,615. Now let's consider this number. There's no gaps at all. It's very hard to read. So what we need to do with the larger numbers is certainly make sure that we introduce those gaps. Okay, we can see this number now is a lot easier to read because it has the gaps after each of the 3 digits moving from the right. So that gap there is a 1,000 gap, and the next one is the million. So to read that number we would write 12,560,937. Let's look at some examples. We're asked to write the numeral for, firstly, 6,312. Okay, firstly, 6,000. We'd write the 6 down and, as with the others, would leave a gap for the 1,000. Then we'd need to write 312, so 312. So there it is, 6,312. Very good idea is to read it back to make sure that in fact it's right. Our second example, 34,206. Well, let's look at the thousands firstly. We have 34,000, so we'll write 34, and then we're going to leave a gap before writing any more digits. Then 206, so 206, 206. So reading that back again, 34,206. The next one, 5,400,000. Okay, this time we're dealing with millions, so 5 million, put the 5 down and then we'll leave a gap. Then we have 400,000. So we're going to write our 400, and then because it's thousands, we're going to write 3 zeros on the end. Okay, 400,000. So all up, 5,400,000. Our example 4, 12,058,030. Okay, we're dealing with some bigger numbers now. That's okay, let's break it up one at a time. 12 million, 12, and then a gap. Now 58,000. Well, we know that these are in groups of 3, so there's our 3 digits, but we're going to write 58 there, but where will we write it? Well, if we write it there, that's not quite right because we're going to have to fill up the next space with 0. That'll be 580. So we'll have to move it across and put a 0 in front, and now that's 58. All right, that'll be our 58,000. And 30, we need to know a 30 now, so again, 3 digits. Where are we going to write 30? Well, if we write it there, we still have to put a 0 on the end. That'll make it 300, not good. So we'll move it across, put the 0 in front, and then you can see, yes, that's the 30. So reading that back, 12,058,030. Excellent. Well, that concludes our lesson. Good luck with your exercise.